this is a glimpse of Samadhi. Yeah, total absorption into could it be anything, or is it just the divine? It's a little fuzzy because everything's divine. And at that moment of total absorption you realize that. But anyway, yeah, I've had a handful of Samadhi events, but impersonal Samadhi events, which frankly they're kind of cool, but they're not a be-all end-all. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. So anyway, this goes back, I'm living in Santa Cruz, possibly living out of my van at this time. I'd already done yoga teacher training. Might have been living at the Orchard. Anyway, I'd done yoga teacher training. I'd lived at PCC. I'd studied with Babji for quite a while. I'd read the Mahabharata. I'd read Vasishtha's yoga. I hadn't read Srimad Bhagavatam yet. So anyway, during this period, I would often work on the cleaning crew at this spa place, and basically exchange for working on the cleaning crew. We got access privileges to the hot tubs and sauna and whatnot. So on this one day, I think I had been on the cleaning crew, and then afterwards when the cleaning shift was done, I took a little break, had a couple pieces of fruit. Significant just to point out that I wasn't like low blood sugar or anything. So I spent a little bit of time in the hot tub, and then it was a public sauna and hot tub. So I spent 10, maybe 15 minutes in the hot tub. Not an unusual length time for me. I didn't get overly hot. I probably took a quick dip in the cold plunge, and then went into the sauna. And I'd been there maybe 5 minutes, and there was a good number of people. I think there was close to a half a dozen people or so in the sauna. And I was sitting up on one of the sort of upper bench levels, and I was just sitting there, doing what you do in a sauna, just breathing and meditating and relaxing and whatnot. So, but I was trying to sit perfectly upright and had my eyes closed and was breathing. I'm definitely remember breathing. I didn't pass out from not breathing. I was breathing the whole time. So I'm doing this meditation. I took this breath in, and I felt this rush of energy. Maybe it was, you would call it Kundalini or something. And it just started getting super intense. I took another, and I'm like, okay, be calm, take another breath, just relax into it. And I'm everything just starts going white. and I basically whited out. It wasn't a blackout, it was a whiteout. Now I have a vague recollection of it. At one point I sort of come to, I'm on the ground. Apparently at this point I've fallen off of the bench onto the lower level, off of that onto the floor, possibly banging my head, I'm not sure, apparently not very bad, but I've fallen all the way onto the floor. But not like that knocked me out, nor did it disturb this. I was like, oh wow, okay, and I went back into this whiteout bliss, the only way I know how to describe it. And then after, and then then the next thing I know, I'm laid out on a bench outside of the sauna. The people in the sauna have carried me out and laid me out on this bench, and as I come to consciousness, somebody is they're like fanning me, and somebody's pouring honey in my mouth, and oh, it was fabulous. I was so I just like jumped up, and I was like starting to jump up and down and laughing, and I was super happy because of what I just experienced. And I looked around on all the faces that were looking at me, and I saw the fear and the worry in all of their faces. They didn't understand what was going on. They thought I'd passed out due to some physical problem and banged my head or whatever, knocked myself out, and we're trying to make sure I'm okay. And I didn't know how to explain to them quickly, or since I was just processing myself at the time, didn't know how to explain what had happened. So I just like, oh, something told me, okay, just put a little lid on it, right? Just act normal for a little while. Tell them you're okay, and so I convinced everybody that I was okay, and they kind of shook their heads and walked away. And but I was absolutely ecstatic from this experience, and yet I couldn't really describe anything about it other than this white bliss. So the next thing I did, rather than hang around at the spa, was I got in my car, and I started driving, and I ended up just making a beeline to this temple that I really only peripherally knew about, and I'd never been to before, and I got there and went inside, and they had this big, like, life-size portrait of Ramana Maharishi in there, and as soon as I saw that picture, it was like he had given me this experience as a gift. Would be the best way I know how to describe it. And I remember I stood like motionless, transfixed in front of his picture for like a good 45 minutes, just absorbing everything that had happened, kind of having a conversation with him about it. So that was really profound, out of the blue, and probably my best Samadhi experience. My general advice for, if you're gonna think you might go into Samadhi, make sure you're sitting somewhere you're not gonna fall over and hurt yourself. I never hurt myself, but I always fall over. So anyway, that's a glimpse at Samadhi.